Good evening, everyone. My discussion is about mass incarceration in the United States. I bring my I'm near. Sorry.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah, a lot.
It's okay.
I print two one for teacher and the other for you. I print just one to economize resource. If you want, I can send by mail after that, but I suggest you share if you. My title of my presentation, the title of my presentation is "We Need to Talk About Mass Incarceration in U.S." It's a big question. It's a big issue today. No, just United States, but in the world. But United States is the high country in the world in mass incarceration. So I think in what United States do, normally the world follow him. So I think it's important to speak about mass incarceration in the United States, because in the way United States work today of a mirror in the world in same case. So I think speak about this issue in the center when it happens. It's important. I chose this video in general because this video gives us opportunity to talk about this topic. It's very important nowadays. No just in American society, but mean in American society. So I choose this video too because this video open another opportunity to thinking about how some groups in the United States have been affected by the type of politics that in some case have bad result for the specific group in the United States. So, but in particular ways, I choose this video because it's important how, like I was said, the United States. But if you compare this graphic about mass incarceration in the world, you can see that United States leader this question, but no just the United States. But if you compare the four countries who have mass incarceration, United States, China, Russia, and Brazil is the fourth country who lead mass incarceration in the world. It's the quantity of person behind the bars. This video was shown by Alice Goffman. She's an American sociologist. Nowadays, she's a professor at the University of Wisconsin Medicine, and she showed this video in March 2015. And this video already have been seen over 500,000 people. So it's an important question to talking about today. uh, Alice Goffman to write this book on the road, Fugitive Life in American City. This book, it's a result of his dissertation and PhD and sociologist. And I have a question for you. What should be the function of a prison? When we think about the importance of a prison, what do you need to think about the function of the prison? The prison is necessary in each case, in what case. So I think it's a question for you. What should be the function of prison? What do you think about it?
I think it's mainly for rehabilitation and correction of behavior of the victim. This is the main function of the prison for me.
What's the first?
Sorry?
What's the first?
The first?
The first function.
Okay.
What's around that?
Oh yeah. I think so. But in this case, nowadays, the prison doesn't happen like it. The prison has created a circle, a type of a circle, vicious cycles that in some case, some people, it's the vicious cycle that prison nowadays has caused, and not just in the United States, but I will speak just about the United States. So, in this case, the prison have created a type of a cycle that in all the times the earth who was jailed, was prisoned, in the one time they will repeat this situation because the prison doesn't have very well how it needs function. In this case, the prison has this importance to create a new possibility, to create a new life for the people who pass by the criminal system, criminal justice center. But nowadays it doesn't happen. I have another question for you. What are the factors that lead the people to commit a crime? What are the factors that lead the people to commit a type of crime? Sorry?
I think poverty, made drug addiction. You come from a poor family, and the society, you don't have how to don't have resources to study, to go to college. So to find a job, the population discriminate you because you're poor, because you don't have to study. So I think the easy way that I thought this because from Brazil, the easy way for the young kids to I don't know, to have something is to commit crimes like stealing people, and drug addiction is for me the first.
Okay. And you, Olive, what do you think? You was, what do you think? What the factor could contribute for the person commit crime?
Well, depends, because if you look at, like you say, American society, you don't really have to commit a crime to go to the jail, because there's another social problems will come in front of that.
because most of the people who go to jail, sometimes they're innocent. So like if they're talking about no stopping frisk and video, for example. For example, I'll give example myself. There's a place in North Providence, if I go and get arrested. Not because I have a record, no, I'm a clean man, but because the way I look. Because it's a wealthy neighborhood. So I think that's one of those issues we need to focus a little bit, because people go to jail not because they commit a crime. Yes, there's all those issues, poverty, all that will help. But also you have to look at the social aspect. How the race will play a big role on that, more than anything else. And I think that's what she talked about a little bit on video too. How the race will play a big role. Because healthy neighborhood, kids who went to college with her, for example, they get drugs, but they don't get searched. They don't. So there's you have the imbalance on society. I get searched if I go right there, right now. I get searched. Even if I don't have anything with me, but I get searched and I get labeled. Like she said, that fight would be end up right there if it was in a healthy neighborhood. But because it was in the poverty neighborhood, expand poverty, the guy went to jail. So we have to see those aspects. How the crime is high because more than anything else.
Yeah, I think it's necessary first make the difference. The poverty, it's important no criminalize the poverty. It's very important. Crime are committed by rich people and poor people. Sometimes we have an impression that poor people committed more crime than rich people or another group of society. But it's important first no criminalize the poverty. But the poverty could open the door for because the lack of opportunity to people doesn't have enough opportunity, and then the cause of crime, the accord of my my question, my research is the first of all social reason. It's a bigger umbrella. Social reason. It's a bigger umbrella. But addiction in some time could help people commit some crime. But one person that has addiction in caffeine, it's different on people that has addiction in crack, example. But in some case, addiction could help people commit crime. But it's necessary make the difference what addiction we have considered in this case. So I have a pool house. I don't know if a pool house could help somebody commit a type of crime, because I think me and you know a lot of people that live in pool house, but but they aren't a criminal. So I think that in some case a cause of crime it's totally diverse. But I'd like that you pay attention that it's necessary no criminalize the poverty, because in the same case the poverty are criminalized by government, by society, by a lot of people that think about how live in community. So in this case I would like to talk about the number of people nowadays in the United States that live behind the bar. This number, 2.3 million people incarcerated in the USA today, is the high in the world. But if we consider the categories of a crime, you can see that the majority of people who today is behind the bar is because the drug, in some case, because we in the United States we have three types of prison: the state prison, the local prison, and the federal prison. Before 1990, before 1990, in this moment, when the government changed the police regard crime and the jail, the society or the government created a mass incarceration in the United States, because the same time that the federal government avoids no responsibilities about this type of jail, this type of prison, the same time that federal government decide no more responsibilities about the prison. If you look here, the federal prison is we have the little quantities of federal prison here.
The least amount.
The least amount. We have the least amount prison, federal prison in the United States. The majority of the prison are all state prison or local prison. In this case, these prisons are privatized. Because it's a good thing to discuss when you think about mass incarceration too. But if I consider the majority of the population that now is behind the jail, we can observe that the majority of the population now behind the jail is non-convicted person. Do you know the difference between convicted and non-convicted prison? Imagine if a person commits a crime. The police get you and put in the jail. She needs, or they need, a trial. They need a trial. Trial. And after that, the jurors decide if they are guilty or innocent. So, no convicted is before the trial. In this case, probably we have a big quantity of person that no committed the crime and now is behind the jail. So no convicted and the majority of the population in prison is non-convicted person. Do you know? Do you know the difference between non-convicted and convicted? No, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this case, the criminal justice system in the United States could be worse, because if you consider
Could be what?
could
Worse.
Worse.
Okay.
yeah, if you consider
Worse. Bad.
Even poorer.
yeah,
Worse.
if you consider that majority of the people are non-convicted person, I think the problem is deeper than you think. So when you consider the mix in the jail, we have a person. It's a population of a prison nowadays. Each year in United States receive 11 million people each year in the prison. The quantity of persons that enter in the criminal system in the United States, it's so high nowadays. So I think it's important to explain too. Another thing it's important for us that how this population in the jail nowadays has increased nowadays. If you consider 1999, when the federal government decides to transfer to the state and to local prison the responsibility to put the criminal behind the bar, the number of population in the prison increased a lot, increased significantly. So another point is
I have a question.
yeah.
Is it constitutional?
Sorry.
Is it constitutional to put somebody in the jail while he is not convicted?
Yeah, it's a good question.
And so we talked about this last week, right? We talked about the Bill of Rights. And it's part of the Constitution is that a person that's convicted or that isn't convicted, that is found committing a crime, they have the right to a speedy trial, right? So that their trial period or the time between when they're found committing the crime and that they're actually convicted or not convicted, so found either innocent or guilty, is supposed to be a very short amount of time. And so to say that it's constitutional, it's not constitutional to hold people in jail for years and years. But the reality is the criminal justice system is awful, it's flawed, and these people spend 4, 5, 10 years behind bars, as Abner is saying, without any conviction. So they could be found innocent, and so there's 10 years of their life that's gone. So it's supposed to be in the Constitution. In very rare occasions, the people are reimbursed monetarily for their time spent in jail. But that's not the norm.
But we have another problem because the majority of death in the prison is caused by suicides. And the majority of the people who commit the suicide committed in the first week in the prison. Normally, when in the first week, imagine you one person that no committed a crime and was unjustly to put in jail, and during the first week, normally. Because a lot of things, a lot of emotion, this person could commit a suicide. It's the high level of death in the prison, and I think. But I have one idea to defend but I don't have enough time. But I have an idea to defend here.
Perfect. So hold that idea, and tomorrow you will be the first thing that we do.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't want you to have to rush. I think you all agree. I know that you all have a lot to say on this topic, and Abner's doing a fantastic job, and I don't want him to stop, but I can't keep you here after 9, okay? So tomorrow you'll be the first one up,
Good.
okay? Because at this point,